What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This once again is Scott Porter back for day number 2 of our HeroClix unboxing series for the brand new Marvel HeroClix set, Smash and Destroy. This particular set has been a lot of fun already, seeing a lot of big, brutish characters, both on the hero and the villain side, people who are capable of, yes, smashing and destroying, and sometimes people got to clean up that mess. So we've seen some damage control, we've seen some smaller characters who can capitalize off of the destruction or cause it on accident, like Speedball or Black Ant, Eric O'Grady, the irredeemable Ant-Man. And then we've seen some Asgard themes in this set as well. Thor's on the back as a chase. We've got the Desir and Thori. We know that we've got the goats at some point because they're on the back of the booster brick as well. So I am very, very excited to see what else exists in this set. When I was opening yesterday and I started thinking about, oh, damage control. That is something that has not really been utilized in the world of HeroClix, and it opens up so many little doors to different avenues, right? Damage control exists kind of outside of any of the main superhero books. It'll appear there every now and then. It was tied in with Civil War, it was tied in with Planet Hulk. It's more often tied into these massive crossovers, but it didn't start that way. It started as a much smaller book with actually no recognizable characters really at all. A small team of regular people who were working with this company to clean up the messes that superheroes and supervillains leave behind after they have big battles in cities. And it eventually got weirder and weirder and crazier, and now they are basically this Warehouse 52 style, like giant keeper of all things that are left behind of battles. They have dealings with Doctor Doom, they have dealings with the Avengers, they have dealings with Wilson Fisk, they have dealings with Iron Man. They are on payroll by basically every hero and villain in the world that has to pay for these particular situations, and it is so fun to see. So I would go back definitely and read some of the old stuff. It does not take too long. A couple of miniseries in the late 80s and 90s, I think, somewhere in there, and then they really cropped up again after World War Hulk and after Civil War. And then recently, the creator of the Goldbergs, Adam Goldberg himself, wrote a little, it's like as if, I don't know, The Office. It's like The Office, but set in the Marvel universe. And instead of a paper company, they are a construction and reconstruction company who also does some search and rescue and now some storage stuff. And it is a very, very fun book. So I would recommend going and checking that stuff out. We also got some Spider-Man themed stuff yesterday with Kraven and with Rhino and the whole Hunted storyline, so I definitely would recommend going and reading that as well. Now, we've got some time before this set comes out. End of May, with the pre-release coming sometime in early May. So keep your eyes and ears out. Go to your local comic shops and gaming stores and let them know that you want to know when this stuff is coming out, and they will get you that information before anybody else. Support your local comic shops and game stores, please. Support and buy local. All right, without further ado, I say we just start cracking open today's boosters. I'm a big fan of opening from the bottom of my boosters. I don't know why I don't like ripping open the tops, but when I go to gaming shops and I see people just like ripping the tops off and there's all these little extra pieces laying everywhere, kind of drives me bonkers. So yesterday, no super rares, no primes, no chases. Today, let's see how we get started. Ooh, okay. Oh, we got a super rare. Yes! All right, today we have D-Cel, which I didn't expect to see her, little known mutant, but maybe I should have guessed it because on the outside of the box you do have Juggernaut, who she is tied into. We got our first super rare. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Toothgnasher. Very excited to see. And we've got an arcade, set number 6, so it's going to be the arcade robot, who we saw yesterday. We have a Hazmat, but this one does not look like yesterday's. This one is almost pure nuclear energy. You can see the translucence she has there. Has some Masters of Evil on her dial, so that is Hazmat, but I think it's a different version of her. And then we have a Los Diablos soldier. So if you don't know what Los Diablos is, we'll get into it just for a moment here. On top of that, And I need to show you a piece of terrain from yesterday as well. On top of that, and we've seen a lot of these figures work with terrain, I got a terrain marker that is actually an item, I think. So this is kind of cool. I'll put this up here just in the front view for you here. This is a flamethrower. And on the card it says trap. So a flamethrower trap, a 2x1 hindering terrain marker that has some special abilities. So we are throwing back a little bit in HeroClix right now. And yesterday I forgot to show you, I also got another hindering terrain and debris token. This one is a car, and it has a set number as well. So looks like we're getting a ton of terrain in this set. You can see that one's blocking terrain and has some of its own unique statistics there. Very, very cool, a 2x1 as well. And that says Marvel 58, which is Smash and Destroy. Can you believe we have had 58 Marvel HeroClix sets? That is crazy. And I've been unboxing them for you since 2011, so 13 years of unboxings. I wonder how many sets I've done. That's crazy, but number 2. So that's a debris or terrain marker number 2 in the set. Very cool. All right. We saw the arcade number 6 yesterday. That was the arcade LMD, if you remember. He sets himself up as these little traps. And every time somebody happens to find arcade in any of these stories nowadays, it's just a murder bot. Its face will open up and it'll have a bomb inside, or you'll go to like get close to it and swords will just shoot out of its whole body. It's just trap after trap after trap with this guy. And Murder World, the latest series that he is running, is no different. So cool. So definitely go check that out. Los Diablos Soldier. Los Diablos, of course, is the base where the Hulk was created. This is one of the soldiers there. Has a Hulk Busters and Soldier. Keyword set number 4A. Comes in at 25 points. No special powers or abilities, no traits. Is not generated by anybody specifically, which I would have expected if we have Thunderbolt Ross in this set, maybe, to generate. And we've had a lot of character generation in these particular sets lately, but nope, this dude's just there. But if you notice, he is an A version. So maybe there's a B version, an officer or somebody that can be a little bit more brutal, or somebody that can spawn these guys. I don't know. We shall see. So Los Diablos, of course, the original site, which they have, now they're called Shadow Sites, like Shadow Site Alpha or whatever I think is what it's called now. But the original site where Bruce Banner took all that gamma radiation in and became the Hulk in the very beginning of that character's career in Marvel Comics. Okay, let's go on to D-Cel next, which I, again, did not expect to see her in this set. Maybe I should have. There was a clue on the outside of the box. It was staring me right in the face. Set number 25, D-Cel, X-Men, and Brute. There's that keyword again. Unstoppables. Ooh, shared trait for the Unstoppables. Very funny, short-lived team led by the Juggernaut, who is trying to go good guy. So, Unstoppables D-Cel, unique modifier. When an opposing character makes a ranged attack, modify their attack by -2 if they're targeting a friendly character with the Brute keyword. Deceleration waves. Incapacitate. When D-Cel attacks, hit characters have a maximum speed of 3 until your next turn. Very cool emulation of her powers in the books as well. Miranda Manuel, you can see Juggernaut number 1 in 2020 was her first appearance. So D-Cel has a tragic, as most mutants do, story. She didn't know what her mutant power was. Obviously, it's to decelerate things, to slow things down, almost to a very stop. So when the unstoppable Juggernaut is running at you, she's countering him by slowing him down to the point that he can't do any damage to her. She didn't know she was a mutant. They were, her and her parents were on their way somewhere, and it manifested, and she slowed the entire car down to the point that it stopped in the middle of oncoming traffic, and both of her parents passed away. she didn't, but she refused to tell anybody that she was a mutant. She was actually captured by somebody, experimented on, and freed by the Juggernaut. And when he did that, when he freed her, he freed a couple of other characters as well. And he wanted to change the way that superheroes are viewed, or supervillains, sorry, are viewed in the world. A lot of times they end up in these terrible places where they're experimented on, all of these things happen, and he wants to start breaking these people out of prisons and change the way that the world contains these superpowered beings, whether they be heroes or villains. They call themselves the Unstoppables, and she was a part of that team, as well as, actually, on the side of the box, we have Quicksand. Quicksand is a part of that as well. Arnim Zola is a part of that. If we're talking about experimenting on superpowered beings, Arnim Zola is, of course, going to be there. There's a few other characters in that book. So maybe we're getting an Unstoppables theme. Pretty cool. Juggernaut. Very excited to see him. Hopefully we can pull him in this particular series. Okay, Hazmat is next. Yesterday we pulled 24A. This is 24B. Avengers, Masters of Evil, and Spy. Oh no, this is the evil version of her. No. Okay, we've got Hazard to Those Around Me. Poison, Safeguard, Poison. When Hazmat uses Poison, characters she hit this turn are considered adjacent to her. Very cool. With the way that Poison's working nowadays, as long as you're not moved or placed before you utilize or turn on Poison, you can use it at any point during your turn. So she can hit some people from range. She's got a range of 4, and then she can poison as though they were adjacent to her. You probably shouldn't have done that. Energy Shield Deflection. When Hazmat is dealt damage from an opposing attack after resolutions, deal 1 penetrating damage to all adjacent opposing characters. You can see she has some Pulse Wave there. On the back of the die, you see she is Masters of Evil. This is Avengers Undercover, however, so very, very cool series. I mentioned Avengers Arena yesterday. Avengers Undercover is the book after that, where the people that survived Arena go and try to take down the Masters of Evil and Baron Zemo. A lot of really cool characters in that, and she really steps it up in there. So kind of this undercover aspect of that Hazmat. And I think something cool about these Hazmats, actually, I'm going to put her on this side, is the first one, 24A, has a trait that says immune to what I produce. B has a hazard to those around me. So it's pretty cool. Like, you're getting a full scope of her character. This is cool, man. We're getting all these split dials. That's one thing I didn't mention earlier is I don't know how many actual characters or dials we're going to get, figure dials we're going to get in this particular set. I love that all the sculpt reuses A's and B's. It's not separate slots. So we are getting such variation in these characters already. I wouldn't be surprised if we're up over, I don't know how many unique dials, maybe 60 approaching 70 unique dials in this set. That's pretty darn cool. Okay, let's look at the flamethrower, actually, the trap. I think I have, Joe, do we got the card? All right, throw it up. Let's see. I'll just do this guy. There we go. You can see the flamethrower there, right? Flamethrower, hindering terrain trap. This is awesome. And this is trap number 11? What? How many terrain markers are we going to get? Or terrain marker number 11. At the beginning of your turn, deal 2 damage to all opposing characters in or adjacent to flamethrower squares. Oh, cool. At the beginning of your turn. When an opposing character destroys flamethrower after resolutions, deal that character and all opposing characters adjacent to them 1 damage. So you have the ability with this 2x1 item to really set up just a fire trap somewhere on the map. That is so freaking cool. And it's given me a little bit of a clue. Who could set up traps on the map? Arcade, maybe, but I love the fact that, I mean, you're paying, you're paying for this, right? 5 points, and then you could set this up. I mean, you could really create some interesting things that happen on the map, forcing your opponent to avoid certain areas, protecting certain figures you have on the board. Really, really cool. I love this trap idea. That is awesome. So we're getting a ton of terrain in this set. Last but not least, in this booster, we have Toothgnasher, of course, the brother goat of Tooth Grinder. And let's take a look at what Toothgnasher does. Asgardian Animal Brute Ruler should have a Screamer keyword, but they don't, I guess. 35A. Oh, okay, so Toothgnasher, I'm betting you Toothgrinder is going to be your B. Driven to Jotunheim. Move. Passengers of 2. Have speed, then move. If Toothgnasher carries a character with the Asgardian keyword, this turn that character can be given a costed action as if they weren't carried. Awesome. If a 40B Toothgrinder was also carried during this action, yes! After resolutions, remove an action token from one of the carried characters. Omnivorous Beast. Destroy an adjacent terrain marker. These guys just eat anything as goats do, but imagine Asgardian goats can really eat anything, like, you know, weapons and crazy elemental things. On the back, you've got Lord of Goats. Stop. Regeneration. When this click is revealed, you may choose an adjacent friendly character. If you do, KO Toothgnasher and heal the chosen character 3 clicks and remove any action tokens from them. Cosmic Energy. Team ability, safeguarding them from outwit. This is awesome. Yes, so if you've seen, which movie was it? Where was it? Love and Thunder, I think, the movie. Then you've seen the goats that just scream all the time. They've been a part of the Thor mythos for a little bit now. The way they are designed is so cool, though, right? Passenger 2. So Toothgnasher moves up with Thor and Toothgrinder. And you move them all up together. Thor swings his hammer. You pull a token from somebody. And then, Toothgrinder can pull them out. So you've got this kind of, Thor riding the chariot, which we've had, not with the goats, but we've had Thor on a chariot in HeroClix form before. And the problem is that thing would move up, and then you're there, and then you're getting pelted. This has a little bit more mobility. I know it gets halved, it gets its speed halved, but the fact that you can move in, hit, keep moving, the goats are pulling tokens from each other, they're taking attacks as though, or actions that are costed after being carried. Very, very cool. I love the design of this. Bravo to whoever figured this one out and solved the puzzle of how do we do the screaming goats, the lords of the goats in HeroClix form. That is awesome. I'm super excited about that one. All right, moving on. Okay. Man, there is just so much for me to talk about and so much I have to skip because we've got 3 boosters a day right now. I've got to keep it moving. I'm proud of myself. Yesterday, 3 whole boosters in 40-something minutes. It's not... I could probably clock in my time a little bit less, but let me know what tidbit on day 1 did you enjoy the most? What story time with Scotty P did you not know from yesterday or today's video? Let me know in the comments down below something that was interesting or that tickled your fancy that I shared with you that you might not have known as far as the story time with Scotty P stuff goes, because I'm going to keep it up as long as you guys want it. Here we go. Next booster, we have a Valkyrior. Right? All the Valkyries who, unfortunately, bit the dust in the War of the Realms, which we've talked about in a HeroClix video series before. And then we have Thunderball. Very, very cool to see the Wrecking Crew coming out to play in this set. I mean, we should have expected them, I suppose. We also have Bulldozer from the Wrecking Crew. Really, really cool. Man, he looks like Latman over there. Look at those lats on that guy. Holy heck. He's got his arms up, and he's got wings. Jeez, we've got another Thory, which, my kids will love having as many Thorys as possible. They want all these little puppies running around the house. And then somebody I did not expect at all, Quicksilver. My boy Pietro, but in his old school kind of Brotherhood style costume. Look at all the greens and yellows up there, man. Villain colors, you say? Yes, yes, we have them in spades. What is it? Greens and purples or yellows are usually bad guy colors. Okay, let's see. We will look at, we've already pulled Thory yesterday. Put him over here on the villain side. Actually, we'll put this good pup on the hero side. He's kind of split down the line. Let's look at this Valkyrior first. Valkyrior, set number 2. Asgardian, Herald, Mystical, and Warrior. Savior of the Slain. Unique modifier. If a character was KO'd this turn, Valkyrior and adjacent friendly characters modify their defense by 2. So they are going up to a 19, but if you have them sitting next to somebody, everybody is getting a little bit of a boost. 35 points for some front-loaded probability control. You can see the back. War of the Realms number 2. Man, what a sad moment for people who are fans of the Valkyrie, Brunhild, Asgard in, Malekith in the War of the Realms. Just a quick abridged version. Had really united a bunch of the bad guys across all of the 10 realms. And I do say 10 because heaven was coming into play at this point for Asgard, and kind of unified them against the Asgardians. Their first move was to destroy the Bifrost so that the Asgardians' line of travel was taken out. And after that happened, things went awry very quickly for the Asgardians. There was a massive battle in New York with Malekith and all of his forces, with Ulik the Troll and the Enchantress and all of these other villains as they invaded Manhattan, to which the heroes of Manhattan were trying to defend themselves, and the Valkyrie came into play, led by Brunhild. Well, they very quickly realized they were outmatched by the forces of Malekith at the time. Doctor Strange went to cast a spell to try and... I can't remember exactly what he was trying to do, but it went sideways, and he ended up actually teleporting all of the heroes, except for the Valkyrie, out of New York, leaving the Valkyrie to battle the Frost Giants and the Dark Elves and the, all of these different evil, the Fire Children of Surtur, the Fire Demons, all on their own. And that day, all of the Valkyrie were slain. Now, if you don't know who the Valkyrie are, when Asgardians die, if they die a noble death, they get to go to their afterlife in Valhalla. And the Valkyries were the ones that would ride you there. They would ones that would shepherd your soul to Valhalla. They became, when Odin took over, because the Disir are actually the old Valkyrie of Bor, which was Odin's father. They became evil. When Odin became the All-Father, they became corporeal and could actually fight for him, as opposed to just being spirits that would come out and shepherd you. So the Valkyrie were so awesome for so long. War of the Realms, man, pour one out for the Valkyries. Eventually, a new Valkyrie was born in Jane Foster, but we'll get to that much later. Okay, let's move on to, let's go with Quicksilver next, since we have a couple of members of the Wrecking Crew, and we'll look at them together. Quicksilver, I didn't expect to see in this set, although there was a scene in Damage Control that he appears in, so maybe that's the tie. Quicksilver appeared in the pages of Damage Control. Quicksilver, Brotherhood of Mutants, and Speedster. Arrogant to a fault. That's why I love the guy, man. There's no character in Marvel Comics quite like Pietro Maximoff, and I love it. I love him for that. Unique modifier. Other friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants team ability have an attack by +1. You see some hypersonic speed there. Seems like a very early version of this character. Has some improved movement. If you look at the back, Journey into Mystery, 109 in 1964 is the significant appearance. So yes, a very young version of Quicksilver. I would expect if we're getting Quicksilver, does that mean that we're getting, I got to put him on the villain side, right? Does that mean we're going to get Scarlet Witch? I mean, she's destroyed plenty of stuff. Does that mean we'll get the old Pop-Pop, and Magneto? He's destroyed plenty of stuff. Who knows? Yeah, the scene in Damage Control is pretty funny. The new Damage Control that Goldberg wrote has a lot of cameos, like a Quicksilver or a bunch of other heroes that have to step in. And the whole conceit of the story is there was a shard of Galactus after he was destroyed that landed on Earth and became a sentient being. This grew, it embedded itself in a human or something like that, and it became a guy named Gus. And Gus is brought to Damage Control with the explicit instructions to give him a job that has busy work. And you come to find out it's because he is a human version of Galactus just waiting to become the, world eater again unless he's kept busy. And he goes to all the different departments of Damage Control, and it's just not a right fit for any of them. At one point, he's in the mailroom. He doesn't deliver all the mail like he's supposed to, but at Damage Control, if the mail doesn't get delivered to everyone, you could have a you know, cataclysm level event happen, and that's what happens. There's a letter supposed to be delivered to Forbushman. It doesn't quite get there. Gus is like, well, how do I cover my tracks? He shreds the letter, and immediately the alarms go off. Everything turns red. The world is going to end unless they get that letter put back together. And then Quicksilver has to come and go through all the shredded documents and rebuild the letter, and he's the only person that can get it done in time to save the world. So there you go. Quicksilver, damage control. Maybe that's why he's in the set. Maybe because the Brotherhood has caused a ton of smashing and destroying. Who knows? All right, moving on. Thunderball also has a tie with damage control. Thunderball, Asgardian, Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, Wrecking Crew, Brute, and Scientist keywords. He is 10A. So what are we going to get with the ABC on this? Who knows? I have a PhD, sir. Outwit, Perplex, friendly characters with the Wrecking Crew keyword can use stealth. Awesome. Okay. It's not something you would normally expect to see with the Wrecking Crew. Hiding the Wrecking Crew in stealth mode. Very cool power there that's going to allow the rest of this Wrecking Crew a little bit more protection when they are on your HeroClix map. On the back here, you see Doctor Strange #2 in 2020 is a significant appearance. I cannot tell you that I have actually read that episode or I know what happens. However, some cool stuff has happened with Thunderball recently. He existed in the pages of Black Panther for a little while, became a professor over in Wakanda when he went straight. Decided no longer to live the life of crime. But with damage control, when you read it, he has a special relationship with one of the guys in damage control. And I think the reason I like damage control so much is because one of the lead characters, John Porter, had my last name. So when I was, 11, 12, 13 reading this damage control comic book, Porter was the guy that was solving all the problems, and it just stuck with me. So Thunderball and John Porter are good friends because John Porter helps him find his missing wrecking ball. He gets in a fight, maybe with the Hulk or something like that. He throws the ball at him. He misses. It goes into a building somewhere. He goes to try and find it. He can't find it anywhere. He goes to damage control to check their lost and found. And yep, there you go. They've got his mystical Asgardian wrecking ball just sitting in storage. If you don't know the story of the Wrecking Crew, yes, they have Asgardian for a reason. I'll get to that in just a moment. Here we go. Bulldozer, another member of the Wrecking Crew. Yeah, they call me Latman. Look at him, dude. Oh, never skips row day. Never. You've got Asgardian, Lethal Legion, Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, Wrecking Crew, Brute, and Soldier keywords. Set number 32. All right, so common, uncommon, rare, super rare. Is that how we're going to get the Wrecking Crew? Maybe. Hard Hat Zone, trait. When a friendly character with the Wrecking Crew keyword moves, before moving, they may generate and pick up a standard object or blocking terrain marker. So a little bit more of terrain manipulation in this set. Tear it down, charge, but don't have speed. So full 7 space movement with charge. On the back here, you see he's got Masters of Evil. Thunderbolts #1 in 1997 is his significant appearance. Yes, so originally the Wrecker, he had a crowbar. He was a breaking and entering kind of guy. Ended up, when Loki was stranded in New York and kind of depowered, breaking into Loki's place, Loki's like apartment or hotel room, went to rob the guy, had the crowbar raised, was going to hit him. And then Karnilla, this old, sorceress in Asgard and this old character in Thor, came in and went to hit Loki with this enchantment. It actually hits the Wrecker instead, so he's got this enchanted crowbar. He still ends up in prison, and his 3 cellmates and him, when he finally gets his crowbar back, he brings them along for the ride as they're breaking out of prison. And it's the middle of a thunderstorm. He sticks his crowbar up in the air. The lightning hits the crowbar, hits him, his 3 friends. Now they're all Asgardian mystical Wrecking Crew, and so they all have their own individual ways of destroying things, Pile Driver being the 4th one. So hopefully we'll pull the rest of the Wrecking Crew in this particular set. All right, moving on. Little things you might not have known. But yes, the mystical crowbar. That's how it became mysticized? Is that a word? I don't know. All right. Oh, okay. We got some more terrain in here. Another trap. Very, very cool. We also have one of the big bads in Asgardian lore. We've got the Destroyer. Makes perfect sense to be in a set called Smash and Destroy. Actually, I'd be disappointed if he wasn't in it. Oh, yes! Lenny Ballinger. He is the foreman of Damage Control. Very, very cool. Another arcade, and darn it, this is another LMD. I want the real arcade. I want to know what happens. We do have a Los Diablos officer here. Okay, so we'll see what this particular guy does. And another little waggy tail, good pup, Thori. So we've already seen Thori a couple of times. We won't take a look at him. We've already seen this arcade LMD. Won't take a look at that either. However, I am building quite the cadre of LMD arcades over here. A little murder bot team that I can definitely use if I want to do something a little more themey with the next time I play HeroClix with Arcade and all of his bots. So we'll set those guys off to the side. We will take a look at this Los Diablos officer first, I think, because I want to see what happens here. Again, I'm guessing we're going to have Thunderbolt Ross in this set. The Los Diablos officer, however, Hulkbusters and Soldier keywords, set number 4B. Fire the iceberg rocket. Are you kidding me? What? An iceberg rocket? Power, range of 6. Has some improved targeting. Make a ranged attack. Instead of normal damage, a hit character is given 2 action tokens. And all characters adjacent to that character are given 1 action token. Very cool. Police team ability on this guy. No character generation or anything, so he's just an officer at the base. Can you imagine? I don't know if I've read this issue, but I do imagine like the Hulk's coming charging at them, something from back in the 60s, just launch the iceberg rocket, and it hits him and it freezes him completely and he falls to the ground, frozen in ice. That was one way. Power creep, am I right? I mean, honestly, like now the Hulk, just how many things are thrown at the Hulk and he just shrugs them off, like nuclear warheads, all this stuff. An iceberg rocket stopped him back in the 60s, I guess? I don't know. Let's move on to Lenny Ballinger, set number 13. This is so cool. Love to see Lenny getting some treatment here. Damage control. We are getting overtime for this. That's what he always tried to do. I mean, he's a foreman. He's a construction worker. Of course he's going to try and pad the stats a little bit when he's getting paid hourly, right? Friendly characters may activate damage control traits as free instead of power. Free. Once per game, generate a floppy bystander. Yes! Crew foreman with empower and leadership. For 3 clicks on his dial, he comes in at 30 points. And in the back here, you see Floppy. Oh my gosh. If you would have bet me $1,000 that we would have Floppy, the mascot of Damage Control, in HeroClix form in one way, shape, or the other a couple of years ago, I probably would have taken the bet. Did not expect Floppy to be a part of a HeroClix set at all. And to be quite frank, didn't expect Lenny Ballinger. So you've got a number of characters in Damage Control. Anne-Marie Hogue is the creator and CEO, or has been, of Damage Control for a number of years. She's lost power every now and then. When they went public, they were bought by this really shady, a lot of shares were bought by this really shady stockholder who became a bad guy that actually started Civil War when he gave Nitro the MGH that he blew up in Stamford, Connecticut. So she wasn't in control at that time. She wasn't in control at some point in the 90s where it was like a hostile takeover, a little sleight of hand by the Kingpin to take over and create some massive war, gang war in New York, and then get paid a ton of money on the other side of it to clean up. But outside of that, it's been a pretty solid, you know, good guy group of people. And Lenny is the lead foreman. You've got, you know, one of their accountants who always have to go collect the bills. He had to go collect a bill from Dr. Doom. He had to go collect you know, a bill from some other supervillains from the Kingpin, and you know, for damages due and money due to the Damage Control company. And you've had Lenny, who's the foreman. You've got a woman named Robin, who is kind of in control of making sure all the pieces are moving properly. And you get to know these guys. Like I said, it's an office sitcom style comic book, and it's a lot of fun. The fact that the mascot Fluppy is a part of it is awesome. They had a marketing guy. I think his name is Archie. They've got an inventor who works in R&D that figures out how to utilize all the things that they find to up their security measures. You know, he's brought Mandroid armors back to life so damage control can protect itself a little bit. But the marketing guy came up with the whole scheme, Fix-It, Mr. Fix-It, or Mrs. Fix-It, and the Fix-It puppy, Fluppy. That was his name. So the fact that Fluppy is in HeroClix form is just blowing my mind right now. Okay, moving on, last but not least for today, we have the Destroyer. The Destroyer. Oh, it's not the Destroyer. It's just the Destroyer suit. Equipment. Set number 31A, I'm guessing 31B will be the full-on, like, piloted Destroyer. Hopefully we'll pull that at some point today. Large object. If the Destroyer is on the map, characters can't occupy its squares other than to move through them. Adjacent characters can be given a power action to equip Destroyer as if it was in its square. When Destroyer is unequipped, it can't be legally placed. Your opponent places it in an unoccupied square nearest to the character that last had it equipped, or in the nearest unoccupied square that character last occupied. You see the dial here, and I'm guessing that it's going to give these stats to whoever equips it on the back. You can see the qualifying keywords as Guardians, so as Guardians can start the game with this equipped. Everybody else is going to have to put it on. The effect, when equipped, turn Destroyer's dial to any click. This character positively modifies their defense by Destroyer's defense value and can use the powers displayed on Destroyer's dial. Armor of Asgard also grants Giant in the damage slot. So if you look back at the front, you can pick any of those clicks. You can add some powers to your dial like Toughness and Penetrating Psychic Blast, Close Combat Expert. But you can also add statistics to your character's dial, so a +1 on defense or a +2 on defense, depending on what powers you are choosing. If you get the +2, you also become Giant, easier to hit, so the choices are yours. Very cool. That's the last figure that we pulled for today. However, we did pull, and they come in their own plastic, folks, another terrain marker that is a trap, and this one is the laser turret. At the beginning of your turn, laser turret makes a ranged attack. Yes, they're bringing it back. It's like the old laser turret special object. This is so cool. At the beginning of your turn, laser turret makes a ranged attack with an attack of 11 and a damage of 3, targeting all opposing characters occupying its squares. When laser turret is destroyed by an opposing character, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. So not quite like the old laser turret. The old laser turret would fire in a specific range, a shorter range, and it operated as, like, you know, a part of your force basically, and could, like, pew, pew, had one of those blue rings. But this is awesome. So at the beginning of your turn, laser turret makes a ranged combat attack with an 11 and 3 damage, targeting all opposing characters occupying its squares. So you've got to get somebody into the squares. So how you do that with maybe, you know, I don't know. It's at the beginning of your turn, so they've got to sit in it, I guess, on their side. But if there's a way that you can create these things on your turn, that's kind of cool too. If you've got somebody locked down with a couple of tokens, you can create, you know, I don't know if you can put this under somebody, probably can't, but, you know, anyway, trying to get them to step into the traps is going to be a lot of fun. I'm guessing, again, this is very arcadey, has a very arcade feel to me. All right, that's going to do it for day number 2 of our boosters. May is going to be an awesome month because towards the end of May, we'll be getting this set. The pre-release will happen sometime in the early part of May, but again, I'm shooting this unboxing in March, so I wish I could give you exact dates, but I can't as of right now. What I can give you official dates for are May 14th through 18th. That is the weekend of our annual HeroClix for Huntington's charity event weekend, and we are going to have prizing that is crazy, crazy, crazy. Go online, check out HeroClixforHuntingtons.com for further details. If you know Howard, my partner on the H4H initiative, he has got some really cool stuff planned down in Huntsville. We're doing a new location. We're going to be doing it at a virtual reality entertainment center that has a huge room, has air conditioning, and is going to be an awesome weekend. So when you're playing HeroClix, when you want to take a break, go do some VR stuff, get yourself some snacks. There's food trucks, there's all kinds of stuff that we're going to have down at the HeroClix for Huntington's weekend, and that is May 14th through the 18th. Well, sandwiched somewhere in between this set's pre-release and release dates. So check in with your local comic shops and your local game stores for further information. They'll be able to get you that as soon as WizKids gets it out to everyone. Thank you so much to WizKids. Thank you so much to HyperRPG. And thank you so much for coming along with me on this crazy Smash and Destroy ride. We'll be back tomorrow for day number 3. I'll see you then, and before I do, may all your rolls be critical hits. Peace.